Hello and welcome to Fireside with VC. My name is Andrew Romans, and I'm really excited to have one of our newest portfolio CEOs and founders, John Vitti. So John is a serial entrepreneur. I'll let him tell his story, but he's now the CEO of an incredibly fast-growing company that we feel very privileged to be involved in called VersusGame, based in San Francisco. The company's raised $25 million in the last funding round, which we participated in. And John, I'm curious to hear his skills on how he's raised money from big name VCs like Eric Schmidt, who I once met when he was CEO of Novell before he became CEO of Google. So he didn't even need Google to be a rich guy. Although if you're moving from Utah to the Bay Area, you probably need a strategy to handle the price shift. But he also got Reid Hoffman from LinkedIn, and other celebrity investors like Kevin Hart, who I think this is our third co-investment with Kevin Hart, but also Kevin Durant and strategic investors like Roblox. So I think there's a lot to learn from a founder who's pulled this off. So John, welcome to the pod. Great to see you.
Andrew, nice to be here, and it's a luxury to be here. Thank you, and Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Today is the 4th of
Yeah,
January?
we can still say Happy New Year.
Okay, yeah. This is the Curb Your Enthusiasm. We're within the window where you're allowed to say that. But listen, so to start off, maybe tell us first, what did you do before, super fast, so it's a bit more understandable as to how you were able to complete the impossible mission of what you've gotten so far.
So I, like you said, a serial entrepreneur. I started 4 companies before this. My first 2 failed miserably. My last 2 I successfully exited, and the last one, it was automating sales for companies that had large sales teams going after the SMB market. And it didn't really pencil out financially when you have a human trying to sell $30 to a restaurant, right? So we come in there and augment that. And we raised money for that. That was acquired. We had clients like Google, Microsoft, Facebook, Yellow Pages, Yahoo. And so I think what's helped me is just being really transparent and authentic.
Yeah.
I care about what I'm doing, but I care most about relationships, about the people, because that transcends everything. And also, if I care about the people, I care about what I'm doing too, because my business Versus is helping people, generate revenue and get rewarded for their knowledge. So I think you have to really want to have a relationship with people and be authentic and talk about failures and successes and whatever is going on, to be kind of let into the fold.
Yeah, I mean, this is it's not just that 2021 was a crazy year where founders are like, yeah, this will be a multi-trillion-dollar company, hence this crazy valuation for a company with no product and revenue. But being authentic and having a caring thing begins to build trust. And like when Theranos is going, everyone's like, oh my God, this woman is a total fraud scam artist with Theranos and the blood thing. But I was like, dude, this is nothing. Like, this is nothing. You should see what this guy did and this guy did. And I think some of the accelerators almost train the entrepreneurs to, embellish, or like, oh, I don't have a deck, I'm not going to show you my financials. With you, which was so telling about how well the goddamn business was doing, is you're like, you know what, Andrew? I'm going to give you the login to my QuickBooks. You can literally see my.
I've been advised not to do that. I was like, why?
Right. I was like, if you're awesome.
So like, here's the thing. You can talk to any of my investors. Like, we're all family. There's not one investor that I don't have like a texting or calling relationship with, a night, weekend. Like, you have to have that relationship, and that all comes through just being like super wide open and just whatever it is, and just being authentic and caring. You know what I mean? That's so important. So when you're family, it's all in.
Yeah. Well, listen, explain what Versus does. So what is Versus?
So VersusGame, it's a prediction game where you get paid or rewarded if you're right. So we're letting people predict the outcome of culture. And that means different things to everybody. Whatever's trending in the universe, finds its way on VersusGame. So we are a reflection of whatever is going on, of culture. And people can play these games for fun, for free, for cool prizes, cash prizes. They can play against friends, brands, celebrities, and now they can create their own games. And a game, just to level set on that, a game is really just a question about a future event. And it's your job as the player to predict the outcome of that future event. And if you can win all these cool stuff or money. And so we have people, winning thousands and tens of thousands of dollars over time about questions like the weather or traffic or the stock market or crypto or MTV Music Awards, like whatever you're interested in, you'll find something like that on Versus. And if you don't, just create your own game and share it with your friends and make extra money that way too.
So give an example of like a crypto related. So everything is binary, right? So it's either will it be heads, will it be tails? Maybe explain like what the like test function of the game is, and even where is the internet that you do this?
Yeah, this is important. The framework of the game is a binary thing. You're right. So it's this versus that, yes versus no. And I didn't want to, that's how the brain thinks. I didn't want to create a new human behavior. I wanted to support and enhance what you're already doing. So this is already your habit. You consume a bunch of content. You automatically create opinions and predictions off that content. And then
you're saying in the real world. So in the real world, absent VersusGame, we consume all this stuff. We generate opinions. Now you're running around with opinions saying, I think I'm long on Bitcoin, or I think Ethereum is better than Bitcoin.
Bingo. Yeah, and that's the end of it. Unless you have a lot of money, you can go buy Bitcoin and go enjoy Wall Street, but not a lot of people can. Like the minority can, the majority can't. And so we're saying, hey, it doesn't matter how much money you have in your pocket, it matters how much you know. So yeah, in the real world, it's that primal reptilian part of your brain takes over, you consume the content, you form that opinion and that prediction. But then when's the last time you made money, like listening to your favorite song on Spotify, and you're like, this is an awesome song, it's gonna be a huge hit, I love it, and you made money from that. That's where we come in, because Billboard, our official partner, asked those questions on Versus and on Billboard, and they say, hey, which song will be higher up in the charts, Drake versus Kanye, by Friday at noon? And then if you're into music, you have coins in your wallet, just like you would for Fortnite, right? You have coins in your wallet on Versus, you put them on a prediction if when you want to, and you see this question that you like, you put $1 worth of coins in on Drake, the machine goes out and finds your match like Tinder. And in this scenario, your match is your opponent, because we are a marketplace. So we need a person on side A and side B.
So when I'm asking questions, because we spent a lot of time together and we participated in the last 25 million funding round, I know the answer, but I think it's a good way for people to understand it. So where do you go to download this app? I mean, like, how does this work? You download the app or?
Yeah, we're in the app stores. You can just go, if you don't want to do that, you can go to the desktop site, and we're mostly a mobile experience. So you just open up your mobile phone, open up your browser, Chrome, Firefox, whatever, Safari, and just type in versusgame.com, and then you can start playing.
Okay, so you get a profile, and if you want, you can play for free. Yep. So you can be like, I have an opinion, I've been absorbing knowledge in natural life, and now I feel like going head to head with somebody else and proving how right I am. And maybe the universe teaches you a lesson and you were wrong, or maybe you're as smart as you think you are. But the other thing you can do is you can essentially put some fiat currency and buy some coins. Mm-hmm. So you've now got house chips to play with, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we give you some, we give the new players some, we give even existing players some here and there. And then you can play with these coins to win more coins, usually almost double, or win cool prizes from like GoPuff, right? Or Mountain Dew, or, some of our sponsors.
Okay. So there's sponsors and brands that are interested in interacting with this, random demographic, which is kind of all over the place, it sounds like.
Kind of, yeah. It's usually a younger gen, but it's kind of mirrors whatever's trending in the universe, but yeah.
So I don't know what you can reveal on this, but can you give a sense of total, volume of cash that's gone through it in 2021 or since inception?
Yeah.
How big this is?
About 100 million has gone through the game last year.
So in 2021, over $100 million went through
Yes.
your system, your business.
Mhm.
And what is your revenue model? How do people make money? How do each of the actors in this scene get paid?
So we take a transaction fee, a platform fee, basically. That's our revenue model, and it fluctuates, it changes, but it's pretty low and minor. We have a big focus on putting real money in real people's pockets. So that means we want to give most of that $100 million back to the players. So that's how that works. And then when we work with celebrities and influencers, like a Josh Richards or whoever, Jason Derulo, they create a question or a billboard, they share it with their audience, then we give them a cut of our revenue. We take it out of ours, we eat it and share it with them. And for them, a couple things happen. It's as far as like byproducts. One, they get really cool, like true community engagement. Like, when's the last time you played a game against your favorite celebrity or a podcast that you like? And then number two, it's a whole new revenue stream for them that's ad free, because we all love ads, right? So it's one of those things where, hey, this is a new thing, why not try it?
Okay, and give me an example of like, what's the average amount of so there's a question that somebody sets up, maybe an influencer or another participant, that I think Ethereum will go up in value more than Bitcoin by June 30th or whatever it is. And then you have a matching system that brings two sides together like Tinder, right?
Correct.
And then so that's the matching part. And then so there's game creation, there's matching, and then there's the amount. What's the average amount of money that people are putting down against each other on this?
It's real small, and it's because we're all about microtransactions, and I'll tell you why in a second, but the answer is around $3.
So $3. So the average, so this is kind of like Twitter. It's like going to a baseball game and like, let's bring a lot of ones.
I'll put $1 on
sit
it.
through this game all day. $1, that's a bunt. $1, he gets to first base.
Yeah.
And so it's relatively small amounts of money. And you've got, maybe explain where you put goalposts around, how much people could spend or lose, and like what your thinking was and your philosophy.
So this is everything to us, because our mission is knowledge should be rewarded, and we're trying to kind of democratize the whole world of Wall Street, where you already have to be rich to make money there. But we're all the ones, us plebeians, are the ones that are, using all these products and services, going down these rabbit holes on YouTube. Why aren't we getting a piece of it too, right? So what we're saying is, hey, we're all about microtransactions, which means it's a prefix menu like a restaurant. It's $1 to $100 max.
Okay, so $1 to $100.
Yeah, and so you can't come in and think you're a boss and throw down any amount of money, because that creates influence and a sharky ecosystem, and we already live in those worlds. So I didn't want to just replicate those worlds.
Okay. So I wanted to bring that philosophy out, because I know that was a really big thing when we first met and throughout watching, in understanding this. And so,
Andrew, I've had a number of VCs on calls, and they're like, oh, you should bring it up to like $10,000 or any amount, or, and it really it goes against, our what we're trying to do in our philosophy, and what we couldn't meet eye to eye on that. I'm bringing that up.
I was the opposite. Like we were the absolute opposite. We were like, I don't want to see this turn into a vice gambling thing.
Right.
I want to see this as a positive, like, you're wasting your goddamn time on Twitter. Bring that crap over here. And wouldn't it be fun to be like,
we're coming up with some
like
really
Reid
cool...
Hoffman, like Reid Hoffman. I was like, Reid, why don't you go after Benioff and make LinkedIn like Salesforce, that we could put notes into it, and over time you can take down Salesforce and think of the multiples on that SaaS revenue compared to just like this current recruiter ads thing. And it's like all this back and forth. Why not put these kinds of conversations like onto a system? And it's a bit like, haha, you're out $3.
Yeah, it's just a couple bucks. Yeah, people are challenging their friends and sharing content, because that's what we already do. That's why Facebook was born, right? People have an opinion, they have to share it, right?
Okay. And now I think I always like, I hate it when someone gets up and goes, I'm super successful. I founded Twitter. Look at me. I'm making a lot of money. Not to say that's Jack Dorsey, but Jack will even tell you a story where there's an actionable lesson learned that other people can replicate, and that might benefit their life. You've successfully raised from classic VCs, you've raised from celebrity investors, and you've built an amazing ecosystem of partnerships. Why don't we start with like, explain some of the partnerships you've built out for VersusGame, and maybe some advice of how you managed to pull those down, or some of the hard challenges, or just getting there.
Yeah, and I'm definitely not one of those people that call myself successful. I think I have the opposite syndrome.
Dude, you got $100 million running through your system, and it's about to pop far beyond that. But keep going.
But I'm lucky. And very grateful. And I wouldn't be here without all the people that are supporting this. I think with the partnerships, from a young age, I learned how to listen. And when you listen a lot, you have a lot of empathy, and you understand what's important to them, what's not, what do they really need, and then you craft solutions around their needs. And then you look at trends, and I'm like a trend type of person. So you talk to 100 people and like, oh, well, 60 are having the same problem. And then it's like, oh, there's something here. I can just create one solution that'll help the majority of these people. And that's great for everybody in the ecosystem. It didn't start out that way. It started out with like wanting to create a platform for the players. But then the byproduct was, oh, wait a second, all these players are users on other apps. And then you look at all these like app store reviews, it's like, oh, I love this thing, but I hate the ads. All these things start bubbling up, and these trends are impossible to ignore. And then so we started looking at it, talking to these partners, these potential partners, these corporations, and they're like, yeah, if you can do that, that's awesome.
So name a few. I mean, like OK Magazine, Grazie, Billboard, Maxim.
Yeah, with Billboard, this was funny. With Billboard, we were already doing games about the Billboard charts, where it's like, hey, what do you think is going to be higher up? This song versus that song, this artist, whatever. And so we already made like millions of dollars doing this. And then one day we get introduced to Billboard, the president of Billboard. And I was like, look at all these case studies. And by the way, the case study is about you. And he's like, what? I'm leaving food on the table now, right? And so, yeah, we want to get involved in that. And so that was like, I already solved your problem, and I already have like a real case study because we're just doing it. Do you want in on this thing? And it became like a no-brainer, The other piece, to be honest, I got really lucky with the cap table, because the cap table, our investors happen to be operators and owners at like the C-suite or the founder level of these amazing companies. They pioneered this stuff. And so we walked in to a lot of these companies saying, you got to work with John, get it going, check this out, right? And so I think strategically we went about it the right way. It's setting up the right people that could bring us into their multiple types of relationships.
Okay. And like, I guess, I mean, if you're OK Magazine, Maxime, Grazie, all these guys, some of these streaming partners, gaming partners, this is just an additional way of getting engagement and delighting their users. I mean,
yeah, it's two things, that, and then a new revenue stream that's ad-free. Okay. Because like all these companies, they want to augment, they're just shackled to ads, right? And think about it, you're spending all this time and money to create content, to get eyeballs, and then all you do is slap up an old school disruptive ad that no one likes. Like, let's call it out there, like real talk. So then everyone's always looking for alternatives, and all these companies on these social or content platforms, they're always looking to do one thing, to help their creators. If they can help their creators, they get better content, they get more users, and it just goes right back to them, right? So how do they do that? And then it comes down to two things that they tell me. One is they want to give their creators more engagement, and they want to give their creators more revenue streams. and versus game plugs into those things.
And that's driving some of the topics. What are the top trending topics now? You'd mentioned crypto and stocks, but like, what are the music, obviously?
Yeah, it's usually stocks, crypto, and music, entertainment stuff. But whatever's going on in the universe, like when it was Squid Games, it was all about that. Or MTV Music Awards,
Right.
it was all about that. It's nuts. Like whatever is hitting, like Spider-Man, right? That thing takes over the game, and people are really into that topic, and it just rifles up to the top of the feed.
And this is a question for the real okay boomers and old people, which I consider myself at this point because I don't pay attention to influencers and stuff. But explain influencers and how are influencers participating on VersusGame platform, and what's the scale of this?
Okay, so I'm gonna break it down to like the biohacking level first. So what happens when you have a human-to-human interaction? I have a relationship with you. So if I share something with you, well, first of all, it's gonna be relevant because I already know you, you know me. Second of all, so it's instantly hyper relevant, and there's that built-in trust and credibility. That's on like a friend to a good friend basis, right? So then you macro lens that out and you have an influencer. Now they have the same dynamic, a little, but looser, but with a bigger stage. They have 10 million followers. But so sometimes it's not relevant and the connection is not always there, but it's still, that dynamic is still around. So when someone like a David Dobrik, pushes out a question, like the guy almost broke our app one weekend.
How many followers has that guy got on his collective footprint?
I don't, I have to check. He's got tens of millions, but I know that 2.1 million people checked out his Instagram story. And we had a 27% conversion rate, and that's monster.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was, our app was like, what? Because It was just this normal and this huge spike. And so how scalable is that? The cool thing about this is that these influencers follow each other, Andrew. And so when one person sees Josh Richards saying something or Jason Derulo, there's all these influencers following them and saying, oh, what the hell is VersusGame? I want to check it out. And then it kind of like opens it up to more and more people that are joining and becoming creators or hosts, as we call it.
And with the way you have it structured now, who can become a creator?
Anybody can be, even a loser like me to an Addison Rae, but you have to either apply or get an invite from an existing creator. So kind of like Clubhouse and Instagram verification, like not anybody will get accepted, but anybody can apply, anybody can be one. You just have to be like, creating good content or having a lot of followers or one of those two.
And what, you don't have to answer this precisely, but give us a sense of the total cash amount any single person has made over a short period of time or even a long period of time.
Oh yeah. The biggest influencers made over $1 million. Over $1 million. And that's been a little less than a year, or just a little under a year.
I mean, that's insane dope. I mean, someone's made $1 million.
Bro, check this
people
out.
Are like checking their face mask. This guy made $1 million and probably had a good time.
Oh yeah. No,
and that's maybe the start.
Yeah. And here's something even crazier. So I'm at this event in Miami, and one of these new influencers shows up, and he's there. He's been on our platform for 2.5 months. He opens up his Versus account and shows his wallet to the party, to the room.
Shows his wallet?
Shows his VersusGame wallet.
Right.
Yeah, to the room. His VersusGame account shows you how much money he's gotten there. He had $612,000, and he was on the platform for 2.5 months. That's the fastest ramp up, I guess, that I've ever seen. That's no joke.
What kind of binary games was he throwing out there?
Oh, he does everything, whatever is trending. He's smart. He looks at what's going on. It could be, yeah. I mean, this guy, it's insane. I was like, oh my God. Like there were people in the room that already, had money. They were like 600K in 2.5 months. moments.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's like the mom is like, you should stop playing those video games.
Yeah.
It's like, you
This
should
is
stop tweeting this bull nonsense.
I love this. When your mom all the time, stop playing video games, lower the music, get off the TV. It's like, yeah, now you can actually make money from all that. And so I actually this is a little controversial, I'm about to say.
Okay.
And I totally respect Gary Vee and those types of feel-good people. But fuck that. We're like the anti-hero, because you can do all those things and go to schools and get straight A's. But what if you're passionate about something else, like TV? Why can't you make money doing that? Right? Just predicting the outcome of whatever you're into. So it's like, yeah, you can do all that, but I know a lot of people now on VersusGame that are making more money than, a lot of graduates that, have great jobs. It's insane.
So, as the CEO and the founder here, what are some directions you see yourself taking this in? I know, like, are you allowed to talk about the TV show, or what can you say about the TV show in the US or outside the US?
Yeah, we're trying to do a lot of partnerships. The TV is going to be domestic and international. It'll be on a network launching this summer. It's all about, and we got a great host and star in it, and like the best and the most amazing producer. Like, I slap myself multiple times a day, and this is one of them. It's wild, and I'll be an executive producer. I have no idea what that means, but I'm here for the journey and to understand. And yeah, it's going to be. Do you remember The Voice or American Idol, where you get to play along on your phone and like vote to see who went, to vote for the winner? So it's kind of like that. Yeah, you predict what's going on, predict the outcome of whatever's going on in the shows, and then right on your phone, on your couch, and you can actually make money on your couch watching your favorite TV show, which has never been done before. So it's going to be really interesting.
I mean, from the VC entrepreneur perspective, it's just like, that's a great CAC, right? Like the cost of acquiring a customer,
great for branding and
with the host and all of that, seems smart.
I'm so excited.
And a strategy of how to get into Chile, Peru, anywhere. It just seems like an amazing thing. And what, to wrap up on lessons from, what can you tell us that you're willing to tell us about getting started with the bootstrapping and the funding of the early days? Like how did you pay for getting Versus up and running off the ground?
So I was lucky enough, my last company I sold, I put some of that money into VersusGame, and then a couple of those angels came in when I just had a business plan, but it was small money that they put in. And then, and it's all, it's never one silver bullet, right? That happened because of my last company, and that happened because of my last company, right? So I wasn't just like starting from a cold start and saying, hey, you don't know where I am. It's, from the relationships. I think the biggest lesson is relationships is period. But then we've had our troubles too, where we tried things out, didn't work. Plenty of times we thought we had something really good at one point and it just failed. And we had to do a major pivot on the game experience. And so I'm grateful that those things are behind us, but I'm sure there's gonna be 20 more different things coming up tomorrow. You know what I mean? It's just the way it is. But yeah, it's about, if you have all those relationships and those people that you care about and they care about you, like authentically, then you can get through anything. You can figure it out.
Yeah. I mean, I think someone at my first job said, if you only worship gold, you're not going to work out at this company.
Yeah.
Right? That because if you only worship gold, someone across the street or a competitor is going to offer you 1 basis point more money in bonus or salary, and you'll walk out the door and chase that gold. Yeah. Whereas if you have a company with a soul and a purpose, that actually thinks it's doing good in the world, they're more likely that they're gonna have a bad day at work. They're gonna get a call from a headhunter. My God, in San Francisco, you walk out the street and there's like a sign saying, we just raised 45 million bucks. We offer dental for your dog. Come on in and have a beer. And like, you better have had a purpose to keep that person from leaving your
Yeah.
company, you know?
There's
So
not one person I know in our company, like our employees, that haven't invested their own money. Like some of them a couple times. Like I've never been involved in a company like that. That's crazy, you know?
yeah, no, that is awesome. Well, listen, I'll put all the links in the show notes, but just for people, one more time, you know, go to App Store VersusGame, download it. That's probably the quickest way to get up and running.
Yeah, the App Store, download it, just go to the website versusgame.com. And also you can check us out on Instagram at VersusGame. So you can play, make money, have fun, and you can actually create games that millions of people will see as well.
And you can play for free too, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah, absolutely.
All right, man. Well, listen, great to see you. I can't wait to see you very, very soon. And thanks for coming on the pod.
Andrew, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
All right, cheers.